What's good, everybody? It is Thursday, February 24th. This is the Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We never, ever take a day off. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not even close. And I'm going to tell you why I always say that, because yesterday here on the show, not the best day, kind of a ho-hum day, as I like to say, when we have a few X's and a few check marks, buckets hit, IX. If we played 75% of the games yesterday, we would have had a perfect day, but we don't. And you got to finish. And these teams need to learn how to finish. However, my man Buckets, he had several more winners at SportsLine with the other soccer picks. I tell you all the time, there's a ton more there than there are right here. So become a SportsLine member and do it right now. Now, whenever it's a Thursday, it's day one of the PGA Tour. We're starting to get ready for the weekend. I need to bring in the heavy hitters for the show. And that's exactly what I have done today. Let's bring them in. Because right now, look at this. Are you kidding me? Who's standing in the batter's box first? Ladies and gentlemen, ready to go, Mr. Chip Patterson. Chip, good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, all of my esteemed colleagues. This is an MVP crew fired up about getting some Thursday winners.
Damn it, I'm fired up too now. Now, live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level. M-Squared. Missed you the last couple of days, pal.
Yeah, it's been a long week without you guys here. I'm happy to be back on the show. Always love when Chip is here. I will admit he did get me a little sad with that stance there in the batter's box. You know how much I love day baseball. I should be getting ready to sweat some preseason or some spring training baseball right now. We don't get it, so let's go. Let's move on.
All we're getting right now is tweets. They met for 15 minutes and then they walked out of the hotel room. Why are you even meeting? Let's get the work done. Now, she cracked me up last night on social media because she has been nailing over after over after over. And my girl, Allie, every other game went over, Allie, except for the one that you picked. What are the odds of that?
Well, it seems to have happened quite a bit lately, so I don't really know. And I think that was actually on Tuesday. But yeah, I picked the over for literally the only game that didn't have like 10 goals.
Well, guess what? Your credibility with us and our community is so high because you've won them so much money. You're allowed to miss a couple of games. Guess what? Cappers lose sometimes. Newsflash. But you're amazing, and we're so happy you're on our team. Now, the man who runs our team, we call him the maestro, Mr. Larry Hartstein. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I had a really nice run going. It did come to a crashing halt yesterday with Tulane and Iowa State not getting it done. I am looking forward to starting a new run today, but I'm also looking forward to introducing those women's college hoops experts. They will make their debut Sunday on the website and then be on the website every single day starting Sunday.
We are actively trying to fill those holes that we know we have because we want to be the one-stop shop for all of you at home. Can't wait to get the women's cappers on here. Now, let's get into storylines that could affect the betting lines today. Now, speaking of betting lines, for the first time ever, we're going to have a live NBA stream, 6:30 p.m. Eastern tonight. Myself, M-Squared, Prop Stars. So with that being said, let's start with the first storyline, being the NBA is back tonight. Mikey, the floor is yours.
Yeah, looking forward to that stream tonight. Definitely tune in, everybody here. But the NBA is back. I want to talk about Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns specifically. Chris Paul going to miss likely the rest of the regular season. Chiefs not very happy about it as well. But what's interesting here is they just traded and acquired Aaron Holiday in a trade. It's going to be very interesting to see his role because someone who's typically stepped up in this spot is Cameron Payne. Cameron Payne is also out tonight with a wrist injury. In the past, we've seen a pretty significant usage and minutes bump to Devin Booker. They are a pretty large favorite in this spot, but I'm very interested to see how Holiday mixes in this group. It's going to be very interesting to see what those player props are when they come out later tonight. We will absolutely be discussing them on Early Edge Live, but look for someone like Jay Crowder, who is going to get a little bit of that usage bump as well. But very interested in Suns props as there's a lot of value with Chris Paul not available to play.
And you guys at home have no idea how good Mikey and Prop Stars are at finding the little nuggets. You'll find out today, 6:30 Eastern time. Now, let's go from the NBA to the NHL. Whenever goalies are moving in and out, that absolutely affects how we handicap a hockey game in the NHL. Allie, you're up.
Yep. So the Blackhawks, they just got Kevin Lankinen back from the IR, and it's been about a month. But I mean, it is really tough when you have Fleury having to pick up all the slack there. So they've been having to pull up goalies from the AHL and everywhere else just to try to fit that need for having a backup. So I do really think that just having, even though Lankinen isn't anything impressive by any means, just having a backup who is at least used to playing in the NHL regularly really does provide them an advantage, especially on back-to-backs, because they do play quite a few of those.
Yeah, it's like a calming effect whenever you have somebody you can come in and you don't have to say we have to score 5 in order to win every time. That's a great nugget. Thank you, Allie. All right, now let's get to college basketball. That's going to be our meat and potatoes for the next 5 to 6 weeks. And there is a team that maybe 2 months ago we said, you know what, they've got a shot. Where are they at right now? I'm talking about Memphis. And I'll get to Memphis, but first, because I can't let the maestro not go last.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Chip, let's talk about Gonzaga, and then maestro, I'll come to Memphis. My apologies. Chip, you're up.
Yeah, no bubbles for Gonzaga. It is flat. This is still not sparkling water for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And they've been absolutely dominant in the West Coast Conference. It's not that surprising, but it's a 33-game winning streak. They had a 12-point win against Santa Clara on Saturday that helped them clinch the regular season championship. And not even the numbers can keep up with the Gonzaga. In conference play, they are covering the spread 70% of the time by an average ATS margin of 4 points per game. They are a 10-point favorite tonight against San Francisco, a very good San Francisco team. They are projected by Jerry Palm to be in the NCAA tournament, but that 10-point margin, if they were to say push, would be the smallest margin of victory in conference play this year.
That is crazy. And I think part of the reason people don't understand or they don't even know is because most of their games are at 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the total margin, I said 4 points against the spread, but it's 26.9 points per game is what they're beating conference foes by. And again, nothing lower than 12. So very interesting spot on the road for the Zags tonight.
All right. We may or may not have a pick coming up later in the show on Gonzaga. Now, see, I even make mistakes, but I own it. Because the maestro always goes last on this show. Maestro, what do you have for us today?
Talking about Memphis, right now, they are one of the last teams in. They would be in the first 4. This is a crazy team, that has a crazy resume, that's beaten Alabama, that's won at Houston, but has also lost to Georgia, lost to East Carolina, some terrible losses. They did win 6 straight, but then they lost at SMU, where everybody seems to lose. They are hosting Temple tonight, and, I've fallen in love with this Temple team. They've covered 7 of 9. The last 2 underdog outright wins convincingly against the spread, covered those by 22 points. They have a true freshman, Zach Hicks, shooting 40% from 3 over the last 9 games. They're a very, very good defensive team. I'm going to look and see how high this line gets. I've seen it all the way from 11 up. Now I'm seeing some 12.5. Memphis laying a huge number. Now the last 3 Memphis home games, double-digit wins. Obviously, it's a must-win for Memphis to keep those tournament hopes alive. But if this should get to 13 or more, I don't think I can resist playing the Owls.
I don't think I can either. My goodness, the Fighting Penny Hardaways trying to make it into the big dance. Now, let's focus on our board for the day. And our first play from SportsLine, if you're not a member, what in the world are you doing? Use a promo code EDGE right here, right now. I'll give you 30 days for free. Use all the cappers. Everybody you see on the screen today is at SportsLine, and you can get all the other picks there. There is no better value. Now, today, we're going to go to the pitch. Our man Buckets, he has been firing lately. We're going to go to Lazio, and he says, and I quote, Lazio is an absolute monster at home. Monster at home. All right? There's 3 more picks from this game at SportsLine from Buckets. I'm not going to give it to you. You got to be a SportsLine member. So let's go. Now, whenever my man is not on the show, I'm not able to do this. This is exclusive. But it's like a beautiful marriage when Chip's Energy is on the show and Mikey's on the show and I get to do this. Oh, M squared. Let's get it started. You know the drill, son. Give it to me.
All right, let's go back to some golf. The people love the golf. We're going to give them the golf here. Louis Oosthuizen plus 105 against Sungjae M. This is a later round one matchup here. Sungjae is the favorite at this event. If you follow over on SportsLine, you'll see where I've got them rated in my simulations, though. Sungjae, I'm a little bit worried here. Obviously, the price point, he is elevated in price due to some course history, but it's important to remember the course history at this event. This event is not super strong in terms of the field overall. Louis Oosthuizen is a Florida resident. He's familiar with this place, hasn't had a ton of success here, which is why you've seen some of the pricing discrepancy at this point. But there are two metrics that I really care about here on this course, and that's going to be strokes gained on the approach and strokes gained around the green. Louis is better in both of these categories. He's a top 20 player in terms of strokes gained approach, but where he really shines dating back from 2021 till today, he's a top 10 player around the greens. Why I care about that, Sungjae M has only played 5 of 7 events so far. He played in his last outing here. He really struggled around the greens, ended T33, and that's where he was losing the strokes, was around the greens. This is not a course where you can afford to lose strokes around the greens. And then finally, looking at first round scoring averages, Louis Oosthuizen is one of the top 10 players on tour in terms of first round scoring average. At plus money here, I have to take Louis Oosthuizen over Sungjae.
You're damn right. He's also fresh. He took a lot of time off. Sungjae never takes any time off. He plays every single week. Couple of chat comments that I absolutely love. Vincent says, Coach, I turned $50 into $900 in 2 days. It's not all on you, but I watch daily and I use the information. Thanks, fellas. Love what you do. That's what it's all about. Using the information to use it at your book for the bets that you have. Also, how do we find soccer picks on the site? I am a member. It's not as difficult as all you guys think. Go to the drop down. Go to analysis.
Analysis, yeah.
Then go to soccer, and they're all right there. It's 2 tabs. Analysis, soccer, it's all right there. All right. Now, if you would have just blindly bet the over on the Florida Panthers, you'd have a lot of money right now. But I have not done that the last couple of years. But, Allie, are we doing that today? Talk to me.
We are definitely betting it. I don't think it's really blind considering we have both really good over teams here. So I think it gives us a little bit of an extra motivation to take it.
Yes.
But 9 of their last 10 home games have gone over 6.5. So I really do think that puts us in a good position, as have 7 of the last 10 CBJ road games. And the Panthers, they've already played Columbus twice this season, and they won both of those, 9-2 and 8-4. And we do have the exact same goalies so far. Elvis Merzlikins, he had 7 GA against the Panthers in one of them. And then in that other one, he allowed 4 goals in just 13 minutes and 28 seconds. And then you had Bobrovsky. He did pretty still 4-2 in one of them. But the Blue Jackets are definitely capable of really exploding offensively, but also kind of the opposite, where they can not do anything offensively, but they'll allow their opponents like 8-9 goals. And really either situation is good for tonight, because the way that both of these teams have been playing, I think you'd have to be pretty crazy to take the under. So the over seems like a pretty good bet for tonight.
I think it seems like a great bet for tonight. The other night, I turned on Nashville and Florida. They were on ESPN Plus. It was 2-1. Literally 2 minutes later, it was 3-3. They scored so fast. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was nuts. I love this pick, Allie. I absolutely love this pick. All right, a couple of chat questions before I get to my other 2 esteemed colleagues. M Squared, is that for a tourney or just round 1? I think you made it pretty clear, Rocky. That was for round 1. Yes?
Yeah, round 1. I like it for the tournament as well, but the stronger play is on round 1.
Thank you, Mikey. When will that golf match end? And sometimes that's an issue because your money is tied up in your book and you can't play games a little bit later. This is an afternoon game, so anywhere from 5 to 6 p.m. is when it will end. Right, Mike? Okay. All right, let's move on. I'll try to get as many questions as I can. Now, part of the reason we brought this man onto the show the last couple of weeks is because, A, I love him. B, he brings energy. And C, he's all about being part of the team. Maestro, you're – no. All right, Chip, you're up. What do you got for us today?
We're going to an awesome game in the Big Ten. Ohio State at Illinois. You remember these two played for the Big Ten Conference Tournament title last year. Game went to overtime. Just phenomenal showdown. E.J. Liddell for Ohio State. Kofi Coburn. We're not talking just Big Ten National Player of the Year contenders. We're talking like this is some of the best players in the entire country. And I'm going to take Ohio State, and I'm going to take those points because, as they would tell you on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, Chris Holtmann just doesn't get enough respect. And who's not respecting Chris Holtmann? The odds makers. 7-2 against the spread in the last 9 games for the Buckeyes. And I saw something that's very important for Ohio State in the win against Indiana. It is Malachi Branham, the freshman, finally starting to flourish. He had 27 points in that win against the Hoosiers. So with that secondary, really good offensive option, I think Illinois ends up winning, but I just look at this matchup, and as I handicap it, it's going to come down to those final moments. So when I've got 6 points, multiple possessions, I will be taking the dog. I'll also be looking at the total in Oregon UCLA. UCLA going for a little bit of revenge after losing to Oregon in overtime earlier this year. And the key for me is that there's just too many daggum buckets on the floor. Okay. We know that Johnny Juzang can go out and get it. We know Jaime Jaquez can go out and get it. Cody Riley. But I'm looking at Oregon guard Will Richardson. He's a 4-year starter, came out of Liberty County, Georgia, played at Oak Hill Academy. I really like his ability to be the playmaker and be the facilitator and the engine of this offense. And it's going to be a back and forth affair. The line is 3. And I just think it's more of a one-upmanship between Oregon and UCLA than necessarily a slow grinder. UCLA can get caught in slow grinders, but I think that, again, if Oregon's going to be able to accelerate the scoring, we go over the 138.5. And I mentioned it in storylines. Come on. You're going to give me 10 points for Gonzaga? I understand that Todd Golden's done a fantastic job with this San Francisco team, but one thing that San Francisco does is they play a lot of possessions. And ultimately, and it's one of the reasons why we've got, some teams that like to go up tempo. If you have more possessions and you have more talent, you give yourself more opportunities to let that talent win. And I think that playing up tempo against Gonzaga is just a bad decision. They won the first game by 16. I think they win this one by about 14 or 15, and we clear that 10-point spread. So lay it with the Zags.
Don't you wish, though, sometimes the teams that decide to play slow against Gonzaga, they would let us know before we play the over at 160? Could you please let us know, Mark Few, or the person that's playing Mark Few? That drives me bananas.
Little bit of experience there when you start to see the bounce.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what are we doing? Oh, I love those 3 plays. Allie, quick question for you. Some books have your play at plus 120, plus 140 at over 7. Would you sprinkle it there?
I mean, if you want to, I just think I'd rather play it down to the 6.5 because those are 2 totally different numbers that you need to cash there.
Completely. They're just asking because sometimes the juice is a little bit different. So, all right, but you're not adding a losing element. You're only adding a push element to that. So, but
yeah, I think that's with 6. I'd rather just take you need the 7 rather than you have to get 8.
Okay, very good. There you go. That's why they asked the question in the chat. Thank you, Allie. All right, now we're to our main man. Whoo! And the NBA is back tonight, and there's one man, maestro, in the NBA that is being historic, literally historic. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, let's hope the All-Star break did not cool off DeMar DeRozan. 7 straight games scoring 35 points or more and shooting 50% or better, which has never been done in NBA history. Wilt Chamberlain did it twice for 6 games. DeMar DeRozan has a streak of 7 with that, but he's also got 8 straight with 31 or more points, facing the Hawks tonight with a total around 236, which is the second highest total on the board. The Hawks do not have John Collins, one of their better defenders. Let's do it again. Let's go over 28.5. This is a collab between me and Mad Max. Got it at minus 112 on FanDuel. And, what can you say about this guy? He is locked in. We know Zach LaVine should be back tonight, but the last 3 games he's played with Zach LaVine, even though Zach will take some shots, he has still gone over this number. I'm going to go over 28.5 for DeMar DeRozan.
I absolutely love this play. I think there's 6 or 7 games in the first night back tonight. By the way, I always find this funny. We tell people this all the time on the show. Evan in the chat says, I love Allie, but I swear 90% of the time her lines are a half a goal off immediately after she drops her pick. Because the books watch the show. They know she's a savage. They know that everybody's going to play her pick as soon as she gives it out. That's why it moves. That's why the show's called what? The Early Edge. It all makes sense together. Get it in when she gives it out, or it will move. That's part of gambling. All right, we're up against it. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of the jeweler on the ones and the twos, and it looks absolutely glorious. Maestro, 1 play today. DeMar DeRozan over 28.5 points. M squared, round 1 matchup. Louis Oosthuizen over Sunjai M, plus 105. Then Allie, she's on the Blue Jackets. Panthers over 6.5. For those of you who have over 7, she says wouldn't play it. Stick to the 6.5 if you get that number. Then Chip, Ohio State plus the 6. UCLA, Oregon. Thinks it's going to be a nice pace to the game. I hope so. Over 138.5. Then Gonzaga. This is the lowest number you're ever going to get. If you don't bet it just because, bet it just because. Then 1 play from SportsLine. Remember, there's 3 more picks from this one game from Buckets at SportsLine. We're going to go Lazio. They're a monster. Draw, no bet. Meaning if it's 0-0, 1-1, you get your money back. Then Jewelers Gym. We've hit the AB3 2 days in a row. In fact, AB was talking trash on the jeweler. It was ugly. It was ugly. I had to step in. But today, we're going to go round 1 Aaron Wise over Matt Jones, who, by the way, is the defending champion. And then Dortmund on the money line, and we're going to go Florida Panthers on the money line. Put it all together, plus 297. I know. We're in a lull right now. Got to keep our energy up. March Madness is right around the corner. And don't worry about it. We've got you covered. Don't forget tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, our first ever live NBA stream, getting you ready for the second half of the NBA season. Myself, M Squared, and Prop Stars. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these Thursday tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Chip, Alabama, the Ice Queen. Of course, M Squared, the Maestro, and the Jeweler, putting it all together here at the brand. I am the coach. We're here every single day. It doesn't matter the sport. We've got you covered on the early edge. Good luck.